Hi, I'm Belle and I want to share my story. I've had a 5-week miscarriage about 12 years ago, and a few years ago I had a 10-week miscarriage, which was a partial molar pregnancy. And last year, August, my second son, Isaac, was stillborn at 27 weeks. So, unless you've been there, you can't imagine it, and you wouldn't want anyone to be there. So, whole life turned upside down, and it's not even upside down, it's shattered beyond belief, and there's no way of putting it back together. Not that life anymore. Life's not the same anymore. It's just not the same. So so I was 27 weeks pregnant and I didn't feel any movement, and I went to the hospital and it was confirmed. From there I was induced, and I had a quick painful labour, and I remember some of the things you remember is one of them, the nurse standing there and saying now it was time to make funeral arrangements. And I can even still remember clearly sitting there going, what the hell? Like, it's not how it's meant to be. But unfortunately, for way too many of us, this is our reality and this is my story. So from there, I have 2 older kids. They'd been a part of this journey. As you're doing pregnancy, you invite them along to, we'd gone baby shopping, and, we had jokes about names, and, they came to the 20-week scan to find out that I had a little brother. So, didn't have anything to explain to them. Although they sort of a lot more resilient and there, and then helping them with their grief. I sort of let them lead the way and talk about it, even though it was quite painful. It still is. His clothes, they kept him, they had a teddy given to him, and they call him the Isaac teddy, and they dressed him up in the baby clothes, and even now those teddies are quite precious to them. I mean a lot, and have helped him a great deal. And every now and then we talk about it, like even now my 7-year-old son will sit there and go, if Isaac was alive, we'd be doing this, or would we be doing that? And and it's normally quite random, but I just go with it and talk about it. And it is nice that they talk about him the way they do, and they do remember him, and that. So that was at 27 weeks he was born. At 38 weeks I hit rock bottom, really rock bottom. That's normally when I go into labour. My due date, not so much, I've never made it to a due date. So it got so bad that I didn't want to be here. My pain was so unbearable that it was physical. I couldn't breathe. My body hurt. It hurt so much. And I started to think of ways to make that happen. But then all of a sudden it hit me that, I've got 2 other kids. They're worth being here for, and I don't want to repeat history. My mum had committed suicide a couple of years after her. My brother had died from cot death at 4 months of age. So from there I kind of went, wow, how can I turn my life around? What can I learn from my grief and my son, and make life better for me and my kids? So it wasn't easy. I went back to study. I was having trouble because I was having trouble socialising. Even holding a conversation was quite difficult for me. So I really just had to force myself. And look, there were some days I struggled to get out of bed, and it was just, I'd get out of bed and take the kids to school and back home to bed till I picked them up. So I just really worked on me and focused on my 2 kids and wanted to make life change. I've been plodding along and doing lots with my life, but it was just time. It was the real, I said my life was shattered. I was real building it, and I just wanted to build it differently this time. This year, my amazing fiance and I got together, and you know what, my life has gone from rock bottom to the top, and you know, it's a choice I make daily to improve my life and make it better. My grief, has it changed? No, it's still there. It's still, I've just changed around my grief. So I'm blessed at the minute to be 28 weeks pregnant. So finally just made past the 27 weeks, which was a huge relief for me. So extra care and all that from the hospital went great. But remember when we told my kids, they're a blended family, about the baby, and they were excited, but there was the question of, will this baby die too? So, and that is a fear of mine too. But, so with the kids, it's been, we talk about it, and we just think there's no guarantees with it, so we just tell them that we're doing the best we can, and this is what's happening with the care in the hospital, and now it's a bit easier because she kicks and moves, so they get to feel like be a part of it. But they're, I think with being pregnant again, it's part of some of their grief is coming up again as well. So, and even with my doctor, she's like, oh, you know, before the 12 weeks, have you told anyone? We've even told a couple of people, and she said, oh, are you waiting for the safe period? And I just kind of looked and said, what's a safe period? When you've had a stillborn baby, like 12 weeks doesn't cut it anymore. Like, if anything, it was worse. And even talking to the social worker not long ago, you know, in society, it's, you know, we don't tell anyone before the 12 weeks because we want to make sure we make it through that safe period. And you know, once we get past that 12 weeks, you know, we've had a scan or test done, and we tell people, we start buying clothes and setting up the nursery, and, you know, we start making arrangements for our life with a new baby. But unfortunately, yes, your risks are reduced after that 12 weeks, but it isn't safe. It's not always safe for all of us, and there is that. And it's not to scare other women, but it's more just to bring that awareness. And for us mums that have lost our babies, it's to be able to talk about it, because, you know, we can talk about the first 12 weeks, but infant loss is not something we talk openly about. You know, I know it's taken me a while when people ask me how many kids I've got, especially being pregnant. I kind of just freeze and go, well, I know how many I've got, but I don't want to upset them by telling them about Isaac. And now I'm at a place where I do, because it's awareness. And at the day, he is my son, he is part of my children, and nothing's ever going to change that. So talking about it does help. And look, there's some days I want to talk about it, there's other days I just want to clam up and not talk to anyone about it. You know, I've had some great friends that, you know, they'll sit there and go, how are you going? I'm like, yeah, okay. But then you get the ones that go, no, how are you going? How are you going with this pregnancy? You know, how you feel about things. And they were far and few between. And you know what? Those questions made the world of difference for me, because it wasn't a matter of, yeah, okay, and then just keep talking. It was a matter of, they really wanted to know, they really cared, and took the time, no matter how hard or painful it was for them questioning their own grief. So even though my life now it's amazing, it's better than I could ever imagined, especially a short time ago. It was a nightmare come true tenfold. That, you know, by making the choice, you can still be happy and move on. and move forward. I mean, the grief's always there. It doesn't go. It's always there. But, you know, just try and role model for my kids that life moves on and you can do both. And, you know, it's okay to cry and talk about Isaac, and not just, you know, but even what if he was here, how would life be? Even though it's all, we'll never know. But we can talk about it and, I guess, educate and connect with other women, because it was amazing how many other friends that hadn't lost a baby and I didn't even know. Because it's not talked about, and it needs to talk about. So I'm hoping by sharing my story that I want this video shared with as many people on social media to just bring awareness, and that it does happen, and it's shit and it sucks, and but life does move on, and you can still move on and be happy, even with grief. So I just want to share. So when Isaac did die, we had some photos taken, and which didn't freak me out at the time, because when my brother died, we had photos with him. But with Isaac, we had these photos, and we do have them up. We cherish them. So, and so this one's Isaac, and the lady that did it was amazing. But she'd been a mum who had been there before, so she knew. So, and this is the one with myself, Isaac, and Abby and Finn. So thank you for listening to part of my story, and please share this around so we can bring more awareness to pregnancy and infant loss.